We're starting with a square block of East Indian rosewood here, using a spindle gouge with a swept back 30-degree bevel here. We'll turn this down to round and use a Forstner bit to put in the 20mm hole for the knot in the other end. Now square off the end. And I'm going to make a little dimple just to make sure that I get the drill bit started exactly in the center. You can see it's really pretty wood. This East Indian rosewood is really nice.
That's just a starter for the bit?
That's just to make sure the bit starts exactly in the center.
But you just approximately made that depression?
Yeah, it just needs enough to match up with the end of the Forstner bit. And I know that the right depth is with about 1/16 of an inch of the Forstner bit still showing. So that's the Forstner bit leaves a little bit of a hump on the inside, and I want that to be flat. So this is a 3/4 inch drill bit, and I need 20mm, which is slightly larger. So I'm going to go in there and clean that up so that it's 20mm and flatten the bottom. And I'm going to do that with a little.
Can I help you with something?
Little skew.
Well, I'm trying to look and see what you got over there. I know. I saw you earlier and I thought, well, I need to slide my table up. Is there any way I can help you? No, I'm good. If we move those tables.
So I'm going to make this hole just slightly
I
wider.
don't mind helping you. Just trying to figure
Turn
out
the
how to...
speed up a little bit.
Get up on my feet every once in a while. I understand that too. That long if that'd help you.
And I'm going across the bottom just to flatten it out, because that Forstner bit leaves kind of a curved surface. And I want a nice flat surface to glue against.
And what kind of a bit is that again now? What kind of a tool you're using?
This is a small skew.
Small skew, okay.
These are our tester soaps? I should have seen this. Yeah, you're fine. Okay. Hey, I'm going to be here still.
So I'm just going to check to make sure that, yep, it's going to fit in there with plenty of room for the epoxy. Now I need to drill a...
About on that shaving knot.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is 20mm.
Okay. How much slop do you have to allow for the epoxy, approximately?
Not as much as I put here. It'll still work fine, but if you have a 32nd of an inch or so around it is plenty, and I got a little bit more than that, but it'll still work fine.
32nd, okay.
Because I use 5-minute epoxy, and it'll do a good job of filling in the gap there. And I'm going to drill a hole here that's just slightly smaller than my screw here on my screw chuck.
I've never used micro mesh, so I guess I don't really need to ask the question. I've always wanted to try it, and that's the cheapest way to try it.
Exactly. And I don't mean to be smart. I have no idea how to.
Well, it was a stupid question I asked, because it depends on what you're using it on. Yeah.
So the purpose of this one is to make a hole in there so you can put it
So
on
I'm going to turn this around and mount it
Okay.
And that's going to give me an opportunity to finish it
Okay, you're
on,
making that hole
on both
there
ends.
because you're going to use this.
Right. So we're going to go in
Yep, gotcha.
deep enough that I can.
Okay.
So I've got a mark on my
Yep.
drill bit here, so I know how
For the
far in to
depth.
go.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll probably get one of those.
And slow the speed down the drill.
Keep watching.
This is very oily wood, so it's going to gum up the bit.
Oh yeah.
So I have to clean this oily wood out.
So why are you drilling that hole?
Because it's going to put this in
Oh,
I'm going to
later,
reverse
and
it
it's
and
gonna
mount it
fit
on
in
the
into the
screw chuck
chuck.
there.
Okay. So then they can finish off the handle.
got it.
Use a toothbrush to clean some of the shavings out here.
You will be up on YouTube within about an hour. Whether you like
Well,
it
you
or
have
whether you
better
like it.
upload luck than I do.
So make sure you smile a lot.
I'm smiling right now.
All right, good.
Well, you know, make some of these woods, tropical hardwoods, are a bit of a wood allergy to, and I
Yep.
never know. So just to be safe,
Yeah.
I wear a dust mask.
Looking for this.
And this is a little screw chuck that I've
Okay, you got.
used to tap
hold on.
the wood.
So you put some threads in there. Okay.
You know, this is a 1x8. Three.
I'm sorry. How long have you been there?
And
Oh,
this
all right.
diameter
Well, I'm not that sorry.
right here
Yeah.
is just slightly smaller than what I want, so that controls my wall thickness. And this is just right at 20 millimeters. So if I forgot to go back and make this right, I'll find out when I try to screw this on. So when I put it on my little screw chuck here, I know that everything's going to fit. So now when I take this wood down to just about a 32nd larger than this diameter, I know it's just the right wall thickness that I want.
Okay.
What kind of wood is that?
This is East Indian rosewood. Brazilian rosewood's no longer available. They over-harvested it, and now it's an endangered species. And Brazil does not allow it to be exported. So, and it's this wood has a lot of the same character that the Brazilian rosewood does.
East India's next.
Well, fortunately, worldwide there's been a lot of movement to have sustainable forest and wood, so I'm just going to start with a cylinder here, and with a gouge like this, I can twist and lift it at the same time to get a nice curve. There's a little bit of vibration there because we're kind of far off of the headrest, and so tell by that small screw. So now I'm going to make a really slow cut as the finish cut here. So I'm working from this end back this way, because if I got this thin down here and then tried to work out here, it'd be a lot more vibration. So, but, now I'm just going to quickly remove a lot of wood here. I'm going to go ahead and get this end down to the diameter I want it to be. And have this size so it's about a, if I'm a little bit larger than my screw chuck, that allows me to put a little bit of a bevel on the edge there. I'm just trying to blend these colors together right now.
So this is for both.
Now we're ready to do a little sanding. See what I've got the sandpaper here. We'll start with some 120.
That's 120 grit sandpaper?
Yeah, just to shape. There's a little some fine uneven areas there, and starting with 120 here, I can smooth out all the curves and get rid of any discontinuities that I've left with my turning tool.
Is that a cling spore?
Yes, this is clean spore old cloth back paper. Really good paper.
You've used others?
Yes. Yeah, clean spore is the best that I've used.
Okay.
You have to say that with the table so close.
Well, he's not even out here.
No, he's right over there.
Say it a little louder now.
What happened?
I was talking about how good clean spore sandpaper was.
Well, I'll say
And you weren't even here.
Huh?
Because you weren't even here.
Well, I'll say it on the YouTube video.
So the grain of the wood's running this way. I'm sanding this way, so it leaves a lot of little ridges here. So after each grade of sandpaper, I'm gonna go back and sand by hand to get rid of those little ridges. And I won't do quite as much sanding as I normally, in the interest of time. Keep things moving here. So that was 120. Now I'm just going to quickly sand with 180. all the way up. I'm going to sand up through 600 grit, and you'll see these little ridges in these tropical hardwoods. They show up even in
So it's fine.
600 grit.
So it's fine. As fine as you go is 600.
Yeah, there's not really any reason on this to go any finer than 600. It's not going to look much different than 1200.
I
Okay.
would assume the finish is going to fill in.
Right.
To some extent,
scratches.
you will still see, unless I did a perfect job on this, you could still look at it very carefully and
See something.
find some little scratches. But
Okay.
Wait to see how it looks polishes up. It's gonna be beautiful when you put some polish on it.
now I'm going to do
It's already pretty nice.
220. You probably just jump to 400 after that.
Yep.
You see how much oil?
Yep.
It's almost like I was trying to sand off something that already had a finish on it.
Yep.
It just really loads up the sandpaper very fast.
Yep.
So one of the instructors I had early told me that always use sandpaper like somebody else was paying for it.
Excellent.
And I was picked that up, and I've been teaching classes, and I
you
tell the
wanna push
students the
that
same thing, and then I realized I was paying for it.
Now that sandpaper's done, you need to put another piece up there.
Should be a bigger piece too,
Yeah.
probably.
Large sheets.
Yeah.
There's a reason for using little small pieces of sandpaper like this, especially when you're teaching students. You don't want to wrap around their finger, and if it gets
Gotcha.
wrapped around there, it's a big problem.